For this exercise, you needed to put only one word and you needed grammatical knowledge, very good structures, very good knowledge of context, and very good comprehension in order to get the correct speech. So we are going to check what was the correct option for all of this. Let's start with the answers. Answers. This is one of my favorite places to visit. I've learned a huge amount about animals and plants, space, time I've visited. I've learned a huge amount about animals and plants each time I visited or every time I visited. Oops. There we go. Each time or every time I visited. How do we know which one is the correct one? Okay. If we are talking about I have, auxiliary I have usually goes with a period or something that you repeated constantly. In this case, we are talking about Structure's Handbook, formula number. Open your handbook. Where is your handbook, guys?
6.
Number 6. Let me check exactly. Yes, of course. In formula number 6, we are usually talking about experiences, recent past, and periods of time. The structure that we are talking about in this sentence is the one that was experiences in our lives, because we are talking about numbers of times. Here is every time I have visited or every time I visited. If you associate the meaning of structure 6 and the meaning of yet, already, ever, never, number of times, etc., you will understand the answer for structure number 27. So let me write it again. Reasons for the answer. The section I've learned indicates we are using structure 6. Now, we need to identify if we need a time expression for option A. Experiences. Option B. Recent past. And option C. Periods of time. Do we understand this? Or does anybody have a question about this?
No, I'm selected the
Excellent.
world old, but not because it's for more time ago. No, it's not for recent past. For example.
But that the word old has no connection with recent past. That's very
Mm,
strange that you say
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm incorrect because don't in recent past.
No, 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 no. But the word old has no connection with recent past. The
Yeah.
word old is for ages,
Oh, sure.
ages, no recent past. That's super, super disconnected from structure six.
Yeah.
Very, very different. You're talking about I am 28 years old.
I,
And
I'm confused. I'm confused with long.
okay, long time I visited. Then this is probably correct. And if you see the word long can be used long. No, but long is a different thing. The problem with that, brother, is comprehension.
Yes.
Again, probably the word long is used with this structure, but it doesn't match the context. I have learned a huge amount about animals and plants. Long time I visited. You need more information to collocate the word long.
Okay.
Much more information. The correct form would be I've learned a huge amount about animals and plants, and it has been a long time I have visited.
Okay.
Teacher,
Mitch.
what about the last time I visited?
Oh, that's very
That was my answer.
that's a possible mistake. Very, very good. Okay, let's exclude how to exclude last. For the word last is when you are talking about one specific moment in the past. Okay?
Okay.
And when we use specific moments in the past, we cannot use auxiliary have. Why not? Because have is used for periods of time. There are longer periods in time in the past. I have worked as a teacher for 10 years. You see, I am including the 10 years in my experience.
Okay.
So the word last represents structure number 5, which is a specific events in past.
Okay.
When you use the verb in simple past, no auxiliary, you are talking about specific events. For example, the last time I visited, no, I have visited.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
So explanation, when we talk about last week, month, year, etc. We're talking about specific moments in past which correspond to structure 5. In other words, simple past.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Yes, of course. Never, 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 never use auxiliary have to talk about the specific moments in the past. If we want more details about it, I can give you a slide from the previous level. Let me find it. This is language adaptation. Let me show you this material from the previous level. When we talked about present perfect, this is a very good example. Example have versus did. When you use verbs in past, the relevant information is when you did it. I went to Leon in 2017. When you use have plus past participle, the relevant information is how many times, not when. So it's different to say I have gone to Leon 3 times than I went to Leon in 2017. If you say I have gone to Leon in 2017, this is a contradiction. In the same case, if you say I went to Leon 3 times, this is crossing the information.
Okay.
Hashtag English, no?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Because this is the two are past, but you need to identify when each past is used. They also have a different meaning, but I don't want you to adapt it to Spanish. Understanding in English, it's like
Okay.
by objectives, by contexts.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Yes, of course. Take a note, people. And this is very important for everybody. Take your notes. Any question?
No, teacher.
Alrighty, then. All right. That's the part 1. Second part. How can we divide the next part? Okay, second paragraph. The building's really beautiful, and it's easy to find you. No, it's easy to find your way around. There are hundreds of interesting things on display. But space you like dinosaurs, the best time space see them is during term time. The first example, the first answer is the conditional if. But if you like dinosaurs, let me see your answers. Okay, let me check your answers. Everybody says if. Okay, Michelle's correct. Okay, Cesar, we need to check that one. But do you like dinosaurs the best time? Yes. Do you like, is this question or affirmation?
I have issue.
Okay.
um, I don't understand well the part dinosaurs the best time.
Because you need to separate. If you like dinosaurs, comma, the best time, space.
Oh,
The problem is that you are not reading the next part.
yeah, I'm read, but the comma don't stay.
The comma is not there, but you don't need a comma. What you need to do is to read what is them in this case.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm get it. Yeah.
Okay, but then answer my question. Who is them?
Them dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, pronunciation.
Dinosaurs.
Exactly. To see them. Them is dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So as long as the idea continues and there is no question mark, this is the first thing you can consider that this is not a question.
Yeah.
That's why you don't need an auxiliary. Auxiliary do is not necessary.
Yes. I'm get it. This.
Eliminate I get it.
I
Not
get.
exactly.
And yeah, I have the 29th answer.
Okay, in a moment. But I want to know why the solution is if. The solution is if in this case, for 28, you need if because comprehension will indicate that the second section is a consequence of the first idea. The second idea is a consequence of the first idea. If you consider conditionals, you will see that we have person verb complement, person verb complement, together again with person verb complement, right? And these ideas are interconnected with the word if. If person verb complement, consequence. This is how you can identify that you need a if. What is the person verb complement in the second idea? The first one is you is a person, like is a verb, complement dinosaurs. Then what is the consequence? What is the person verb complement in the sections in the second section? Who can guess?
Them is person.
Can be, but you are excluding a lot of information.
It's the best time.
Yes, also, but incomplete. Anyone else has an idea?
To see them.
The best time to see them all that section, no?
Mhm.
You are totally correct. Let's analyze it like this. If you like dinosaurs, imaginary comma, the best time see them is during term time. The verb in the second idea is the verb is. The verb separates the subject and the complement. Subject, the best time, space, see them. Complement, during term time. This is how these sentences match. So if you identify the condition, like the connection of two ideas, this is, for example, for Caesar. If you say, okay, the standard idea is person verb complement. If I understand person verb complement, this is probably a conditional. And you can help yourself with the structure. The structure can help you understand what is the missing word. This can help us, and understanding this can help us with 28. This logic helps us with 28, no 29. Because we are talking about purpose. Do you remember what is the connector for purpose?
For,
Again, Jime?
for,
For when you use nouns, but the word see is a noun, is not a noun.
So
to,
Exactly. Then the correct form is to. The best time to see them. So yeah, as Jimena says, 4 is possible. The best time for see them. Because we are thinking in Spanish. That's incorrect. We saw in the previous classes, remember? In previous classes, we saw the translation for para in Spanish. Para in Spanish can be 4 or can be 2. It depends on the next word. If it's a noun, you use 4. If it's a verb, you use 2. Questions, my friends.
No, teacher.
Let's go to the next part. Okay. I have been twice in the school holidays. Twice in school holidays. And the queue was space long that I wasn't able to visit that part. According to this, to your answers. Okay. Michelle is correct. Very good. Benji, let's need to check you. In the case of this one. Okay, we need to check yours. And Elsie. Elsie, we need to check yours. Okay. The only option, it's possible to use, or the common confusion in this case, is very, so, or to. Those are the possible options. So we need to check the difference between these 3. Very important. Let me check in. What did he write? You are correct, Jimmy. Good job. Let me check Brian. You send me the answers, Brian? All right.
No,
You are sleeping on me, man.
I didn't connect the last class.
Ah, you're right. You are so correct. So you tell me your answer. Do you select very, so, or to?
I was thinking in really.
Okay. Very, comma, really? So or to? Okay, definitely we need to check that part. Let's include that as a use of language lesson. Okay? Everybody take notes. When you use very and really are used to emphasize verbs. We're going to put them in color purple to emphasize verbs. Example. I really like sushi. This is an emphasis for the verb like. Oh no, wait. I am so sorry, guys. This is incorrect. Only really. Really is used to emphasize verbs. Like is a verb. Really is the description. Another example. I really know about English. Really is a description. Know is the verb. Emphasis. But on the other side, very is used to emphasize an adjective, not a verb. I am very excited for the movie. Look at how the word very is used for descriptions, and the word really is used for actions. Actions versus descriptions. We need to identify the two. In this case, the word is long. Long is an adjective. And that's the reason, Brian, you selected long. Really. I was really long. I am very excited for the movie. I am really excited for the movie. So yes, it is possible. The problem is that we have more information. We are not ignoring, or we shouldn't ignore the connector that. The connector that is only used with the description so. So is used together with connector that to indicate something you couldn't do as a consequence. In the dictionary, you are going to find it as so that probably. So that. The program has been so organized that so organized that none of the talks overlap. This is similar to say none of the talks are in the same time. Let's use this example. I put a little bit more an easier example. The program has been so organized that all the tasks have a corresponding schedule. You can see a corresponding degree. Give me an example using so. Who can make an example using so?
It could be possible. I'm so tired that I couldn't work overnight.
Exactly. Of course. You're so tired that by consequence, it's impossible to do something. You couldn't work overnight.
It-
Correct.
It means that so can work with adjectives.
Yeah, okay. In this case, so organized. Yes, of course. You are totally correct. Mhm.
Adjectives and
Only,
what else? Only adjectives?
only adjectives. Uh-huh. So let's say is used together with an adjective and connector that to indicate something you couldn't do as a consequence of this adjective. So the reason you are so exhausted, no, the consequence of being so exhausted is that you couldn't continue working. I am so exhausted that I cannot even play video games. I was so busy that I haven't gone to the gym for 4 days. That's a long time. So questions. What happened with two, no? Two is used. I think that the dictionary can give you a better explanation than me. Two is used before adjectives to say that something is more than good, necessary, or possible. To say that something is more than good, necessary, or possible. Excessively good, impossible, possible, etc. For example, I am too old for this. Let's imagine that teacher Fernando wants to go to Kitsania to make a pizza. Ay, teacher Fernando, you cannot enter Kitsania. You are an adult. You pay taxes, Fernando. Come on. You know? But I want to make a pizza. Go to Domino's Pizza. You can work. You know? I am too old for this. If you observe, you use the connector for, not the connector that. And that's how you know is not to.
Always
Always.
for always.
Forever and ever.
Once a teacher told me that to was no is used for for negative? No, I mean not negative verbs. Uh,
Like negative
Um,
descriptions.
yes.
Like I'm not too well. It can be a synonym. It can be the same. I am too old for this, or I am not too young.
Mhm.
Yes.
Can I speak in Spanish?
Okay. Yes.
Quiero decir que el maestro solamente dijo, sí, usa tú cuando quieras recalcar algo que es, que es muy malo.
This is too bad.
Ajá. And
Okay.
entonces yo puedo distinguirlo simplemente con el for.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Because it's not always for bad things. I mean, that was a good strategy, but not always.
Ujú.
Probably at the beginning was a nice strategy, but we need to add more information.
Okay. Thank you.
Too good for me. This is too bad for me. This I'm too old for this. Or if you eliminate the for, the other strategy is possible, you know? For example, you receive your coffee, you cannot drink it instantly. Why you cannot drink your coffee instantly after you receive it?
Too hot. It's too hot.
Because it's too hot. So this is a negative connotation. In that case, the teacher was correct. Only let's add the other possibility.
As you said, is an A1.
Exactly. Let's add a B1 solution. That is correct. Good job. Questions about really, very, so, and to.
No, teacher.
All right. All right. Then this idea is connected with the second part. Because this idea goes like this, look. Number 30 is technically the same. I have been twice in the school holidays on the queue, and the queue was so long that I wasn't able to visit that part. Space the museum. What is the answer? Jime. What did you write
Off.
here? You said off? You are totally correct, girl. Let's go. Do you know why?
For the noun. The museum.
Good job. Excellent. That part of the museum. The standard connector by excellence. Of nouns is off. Every time you have a question, if you don't know what connector to use, always use off. For example, the class of English. The Way, Avatar, The Way of Water. Available on Disney Plus, October 16th. Transformers. Rise of the Anoises of yes, of the beasts. Of. You see? And water is a noun. And beasts is a noun. And English is a noun, and the museum is a noun. So for that reason, the connector is. Questions in this case?
No, teacher.
Good. Why not in, for example? Visit that part in the museum. No idea?
Because the sentence say that something is part, gap, something.
Yes. And you need to associate the two words. No?
Yeah, we need to connect this context.
We need to connect this context, exactly. This is a little problematic. The word connect is a little problematic for me because I use the word connector. So technically in is a connector too. So this is like, okay, teacher, come on. In is a connector, why not, you know? I'm gonna give you a little bit more information. Connectors in English. Linking words. I'm trying to find an explanation, a simple explanation, because for me it's so difficult to find an explanation for off. Okay, let's use it like this. The word part, as Benji says, seems incomplete if we don't add more information to it. There are a couple of examples with this. The preposition of can be used in many different contexts. This is perfect. Let's read this together. The preposition of can be used in many different contexts. It can be used to help quantify a time of measurement. For example, the 5th of September, 3 pounds of potatoes, pounds or kilos, whichever you like, okay? And even identify a location, example, the south of California. But it can also create more general relationships. Relationships is the word. Relationships with beautiful hearts. The word part has a relationship with the museum. Okay. And this is it. Any question? Can I continue?
No question, teacher.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. The last one. You will probably want something to eat while you're there. You can take space, eat. You can take space, eat in the museum garden. Or try one of the 2 museum cafes. You probably want something to eat while you're there. You can take. Okay. I know. Ooh, I was getting worried. I didn't know the answer. But okay, I understand. Who wants to give me the answer?
On?
You can take on eat. That doesn't match. We need something here. It's incomplete. No one? What answer did you put, for example, Elsie?
I just noticed that I read wrong.
Oh, no. What did you write?
Because I put your and it doesn't match.
I want to
Me
tell
too.
you. Dude,
Elsie,
my God.
Me too.
I read
Actually,
your own.
your own.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yes, yes.
Wait. Probably you are correct and I copied incorrectly, eh? Let me check, because I think I copied incorrectly. So let me just verify my files. Let me check what happened. The test reading. Yes, you are correct. Because the original idea says you can take a space on picnic and eat. Your own picnic and eat. So then you are correct. Don't worry, guys. I am so sorry.
You.
Oh, exactly, yes. Yeah, because I was also very not understanding the logic. And now I see the problem. The problem is that it is incomplete. Your own. In the next level, I am going to teach you something called like chocolate. B2 ability. Chunks. Okay. And I write a cookie because if you have you ever been to Subway, the sandwich restaurant? Do you know the name of the cookies? Okay, that can be a nice exercise for your glossary. This weekend, go to Subway, buy a sandwich, and check the menu. Almost like 80% of the menu in Subway is in English. You have the Subway melt, the chicken and bacon, the BLT. The BLT is a very common sandwich in America, and the cookies have a name in English. Look at the chocolate chunk If you look for chocolate chunk, you get cookies. So then that makes you wonder, what is chunk? A chunk is a solid piece that has been cut or broken of something. Imagine a big, big, big piece of cheese, and then you take a chunk of the piece. Chunk is similar to say portion, section, group of components. Okay,
Por example, a pizza.
that's a little different now because that says slice.
Okay.
If you talk about slice, this is for that reason, this is C1, because there are specific words for that. A slice of cheese is different from a chunk of cheese. Let's check the difference. Slice of cheese, you see, versus a chunk of cheese. A portion, you see the difference? Is big, is a section that you separated from the big part.
I'm listening.
I have heard.
I have heard
Uh-huh.
chunk, for
Mhm.
example, in TV shows or video games, when the how do you say, the people homeless
Mhm.
says, please chunk of bread,
Please what?
chunk of bread,
Bread, don't breathe.
bread, bread.
Exactly, a chunk of bread, of course. Give me a chunk of bread. That's a chunk of bread. You see, it's not something that you cut specifically. It's like you just break it. Break it apart. And in the chunk, there are some components of it. That's why the chocolate chunk, let's say in the cookie mix, the cookie mix is a massive, massive, massive bunch of mixture, and you separate this cookie mix into small chunks. Well, this is the association with chunks of information. Chunks of information are technically you need to associate some words with their corresponding, no, with words that usually go together. For example, usually when you say own, you will normally use the word your. Or another example is so that, like in the previous point, I am so exhausted that I'm not going to go to the gym. That's another chunk. Words that usually go together. Another example. Every time you say example, what is the connector that you use?
For
Exactly. You see? Common words that can help you memorize more connections in your language, associating English with English by using chunks of information. In this case, this is a B2 ability that can help if you expose yourself to the language. If you listen enough English every time, you can get these answers easily. And that's the result. My people, this is your class for today. Do you have any questions right now?
No, teacher.
Awesome. That's pretty much it, guys. This was a very important class. Good you came. If you don't have any question, let's leave it over here.
See you. Good night.
Have a very good night, my people. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
tomorrow
teacher.
is listening day, so it's
Good
super
night,
important.
all.
Bye, guys. See you later.
See you.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye. See you later.